Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Changing Times and I am Dr. Zubair Ghori. The love-hate relationship between Pakistan and the US continues. For the last 70 years or so, this topsy-turvy ride has been going on. Sometimes we have very deep-rooted relations and other times we have fair-weather friendship, if you may like this phrase. The problem here is that Pakistan and the US have had their own fair share of problems. The recent problem has come out in the shape of the drone attack in Noshi, where the Taliban leader was killed, and it has created so much bitterness that the Pakistani advisor on foreign affairs, Mr. Sartaj Aziz, has said that another drone attack on the Pakistani soil will be detrimental for the Pak-US relationship, and it could have serious effects on this. Just recently, just yesterday, a high-level delegation from the US side is in Pakistan, and they met the Chief of Army Staff yesterday, and Chief of Army Staff was very categorical in his comments when he said that these drone strikes are not good for the future of Pakistan-US relationship. He also pointed out that if they are so much good for Pak-Afghan relationship and for the regional peace and stability, then they also be targeting, should also be rather targeting Mullah Fazlullah and characters like him. The US and the Western community and the world at large should understand Pakistan's complicated situation, particularly with reference to Afghanistan situation and also the large number of the Afghan refugees living inside Pakistan and the war against terrorism that Pakistan is fighting on. The thing has become further complicated by the recent visit of the Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi to the US, where he was given unprecedented response by the US authorities and given a green line to go ahead for the inclusion of India into the nuclear suppliers group. Pakistan is also one of those aspirants to become the part of the NSG after Pakistan has become a nuclear state, but these both states have been denied that due to various reasons, as they both are not the signatories of non-proliferation treaty. So proliferation, India-US relationship, Pakistan-China relationship, and also the US role in its inside Afghanistan are very, very crucial in this connection. We'll be talking about this, and let me introduce you to the guest I have. I have Mr. Faiz Amir Saab. He is heading the Air University in Islamabad and has a deep relationship with the Air Force and also the security concerns inside Pakistan and outside. Faiz, welcome to the show. And we are also joined by Mr. Bilal Zubair. He is teaching international relations in National University of Science and Technology. Bilal sir, welcome to the show. Thank you, sir. And we'll be soon joined by Rana Tarjaved Saab, and when he will be joining us, we'll be getting him into the discussion. Let me start with you, Faiz. Faiz, these things are changing very rapidly. If you look back a few weeks ago when there were quadrilateral talks are going on, Pakistan was going ahead that we should have peace inside Afghanistan and we should bring the Taliban onto the talking table. They dragged their feet, and after that, this attack in Noshki has changed the whole outlook within Pakistan and Afghanistan. Then the Prime Minister Modi's visit to Iran, where Irani, Indian and Afghan presidents and the heads of state were there. And now this NSG inclusion and the high-level delegation inside Pakistan. Do you think that Pakistan feeling isolated?
Well, I would say that it might appear, but Pakistan, people in Pakistan or the government of Pakistan should not lose hope and faith in what it has in its strategic importance and its relevance to the stability in the region. Pakistan still holds a major role in the peace in Afghanistan, and probably the visit by Peter Lawai and John Olson, Peter Olson is one of the indications that
Nicholson is also part of that.
Yeah. So it's one of the indications that both the gentlemen are responsible for US policy towards Afghanistan, one in UN and one in the region.
Yeah.
So I think the realization is there, and this is what they stressed also, that the US President Obama still wants to improve its relationship with Pakistan. So considering the contents of the statement that came out of the these meetings, one can say it was basically a damage control meeting, where the both the sides reiterated their stances, and they also probably by implication expressed what they expect of the other party.
Well, other commentators are saying that this can be a pacifying factor, that this delegation is here, but on another count, and that count is the Indian part. The Indian Prime Minister is there. The American President Obama has said that that India should be the part of the NSG. If you could recall, in 1972 when this NSG was made, it was made on the very pretext that India has gone ahead with the proliferation and they wanted to get him out. But now they are trying to get them in once again.
No, that you see, a strong India is in the US interest in the region because of the changing landscape, security landscape in the region and global landscape. When you consider the Russian reassertion itself, so the global security landscape is rapidly undergoing a change. So in that context, the India has a significant importance, both economic and strategic, vis-a-vis the US. So at the moment, having signed the nuclear deal with India, United States is trying to get now India into the export control regimes. Now, why getting into these export control regime is probably India wants to claim it's from de facto to de jure nuclear weapon status. It can't get it unless it signs the NPT. And China has very categorically said that without signing the NPT, India probably, they won't welcome India in the NSG, and NSG single vote against of membership, unanimous decision. So I don't think that, and let me tell you, the press statement, the press conference between by Mr. Modi and Mr. President Obama, though Mr. Modi thanked President Obama for helping India getting into MTCR and NSG, but Mr. Obama had not mentioned NSG in his statement. He had just mentioned, he has just welcomed India into MTCR.
Okay.
So
since they are not there, they are encouraging them.
I mean, we should not expect that President Obama would be calling China to let India into NSG.
Let me just go to Bilal. Bilal, is this the real fact that these high-level delegations are into Pakistan just to pacify Pakistan's nerves a bit? Apparently, many commentators are saying it's feeling fidgety. They are trying to find their feet once again, but the growing US-India relationship and the pressure that Pakistan is facing from both sides of its border, from Afghanistan and also from the Indian side, it is trying to reposition itself.
Thank you, Dr. Gori, for inviting at a time when we have another episode of nosediving Pakistan and US relations. It revived in 2013. This situation was not very good previously, and however it revived, and again we are seeing the same patterns of intermittent relations between Pakistan and USA within this span of period. The second aspect, I totally agree that yes, these people are here, Dr. Levi, and also are here to pacify Pakistan's concerns regarding the drone attacks. However, it's very important for us to analyze another aspect, added aspect, that this drone attack on Pakistan, against Mullah Mansoor was not taken by the CIA. It was taken by the US military. And I see an added role of US military in this Afghan conflict in the coming days.
What makes the difference between the attack by the CIA or the US military?
Yesterday, President Obama has given the US military a role of revival, that they can now undertake a military strike against Taliban. And we have seen that it ended somewhere in 2015 when there was an attack on a hospital in Kunduz. That was a very bad episode happening in Afghanistan. So I'm seeing a revival of US military, and whenever there is a revival of US military role in Afghanistan, we will seeing more hard power element in the making of US policy towards Pakistan. That has been the pattern. We cannot only see, as you said earlier, that we cannot only see the mounting US pressure only in terms of what is happening in Afghanistan, but definitely added Indian equation in this whole scenario has exacerbated situation for Pakistan. Pakistan would be feeling more isolated. However, I won't see the scaling down of overall relations between Pakistan and United States of America, because Pakistan has various other aspects of relation that actually add flavor to this particular relationship.
But Faisal, if you look at this, as he said, nosediving, I don't say that it's a nosediving, it is going for the worse maybe. If you look at the 2011 attack in Abbottabad, and of course the Salalah episode, that was the worst in the recent history. And then there were efforts from the both sides. If you could recall the comments given by Leon Panetta, they were poisonous against Pakistan. But then some sanity prevailed between the two sides, and things started to move again. And President Obama again said some good things. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's visit to the US, and that has pacified the thing. Do you think that we are again on to the worsening side, or something good has been offered this time by this visiting delegation to Pakistan?
Well, the attack inside Balochistan, close to Noshki, is definitely a low point in our relationship. And Pakistan, probably for the first time in no uncertain terms, has reiterated its dislike, its rejection, its rejection of the US attack inside Pakistan. So if you consider that that such a strong words coming from Sartaj Aziz Saab, that the future, if there's any repetition of such attacks, it would be detrimental to the relationship between Pakistan and USA. I think this is a low point in our relationship. However, if you look at why this attack took place, Mr. Obama came and he, while coming in power, he won a Nobel Peace Prize right in the beginning. So his endeavor was to pull out American forces from Iraq and from Afghanistan. From Iraq, he did, to the detriment of the situation in Iraq itself and in Middle East itself. But from Afghanistan, he could not do it. So one of his earlier claims of finishing two wars and going down in history as a president who did not launch a war but who finished two wars, he sees a personal failure, personal kind of a setback here from coming from Pakistan.
But now with the escalation money he has given to the powers in Afghanistan, that is not going down as a peace president.
That is his dissatisfaction, or that is his disappointment with the emerging situation, that he did not see any, he was hoping to have a relationship or negotiations with Taliban reached an extent before his departure that he could claim that he was the pioneer of this peace process. But since that did not happen, probably he has gone on the other side and now he's taken on the offensive. And what you see today is the attack in Noshki, and his permission or allowing the US troops to take active part in action in Afghanistan is probably an outcome of his disappointment.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by Rana Athar Javed Sahab. He's heading a think tank in Islamabad and works on the international and regional issue. Rana Sahab, welcome to the show. We have been talking about this visit of the American delegation comprised of Richard Olson and Nicholson, and they are meeting international dignitaries inside Pakistan, and they are meeting yesterday with the Chief Army Staff, where Chief Army Staff was very unequivocal when he was saying that Pakistan is not going to accept that. Well, how do you see that this visit is a kind of a carrot to Pakistan, or some new developments are going to happen?
No, I don't think so. There will be any new development. It's just, they're doing some window shopping, I would say. They're trying to, like always, American do it, that they're trying to control the damage and just trying to clarify to their public that they are doing whatever they can to re-establish relationship and trust between Pakistan and United States. The fact of the matter is that this time US went really too far, and it has that repetition and traditional approach to deal Pakistan, and we have seen enormous amount of pressure on Pakistan's diplomatic corps, on our military, on our civil society organizations, on our foreign office. Under that kind of pressure, and having Indian Prime Minister hosting them, with the red carpet, and also the way India, I would say, French spoke to Indian desires to shopping list, a very long shopping list.
It is.
So my problem is with that.
Don't you think the Indians have their own not the Indian government, the Indian population? They have their own credentials into the market. They have the population of 120 billion rupee.
Yes, out of 800 million. Recently, CNN report, Free Zakaria said that we were saying 500, but 700 million do not have the toilet facility.
Yeah, that's what
I would
but
recommend
they are a
for
commercial entity.
it's great. I mean, I have no problem with India having all the memberships of the world. We have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Problem lies with the where United States failed to create or have a balanced foreign policy in the world.
How do you define balance here?
Balance is when when a country is a superpower like United States, it must especially address or engage pragmatically all those countries which had been supportive for the last 5 decades. In fact, it's also our own fault. I'm not going to bash ourselves, but our fault has been that we put all eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And because of that, and the coercive and deceptive diplomacy of other countries, we fail miserably on the account. Number one, we never looked at the regional other powers to establish relationship other than India and in the Middle East, like Iran, for example. Secondly, when we start bashing Saudi Arabia, we forget everything that was Saudi Arabia has done for this country and what Saudi Arabia has been doing for the country. So what we do is normally it's like that we follow one single dot and then we keep on destroying our own.
We have our own policy flaws.
But one problem, which I would say the current visit and the like may be coming in future as well. It is because of the Pakistan military's stance that these people have emerged suddenly out of a curtain. They should have visited prior to that when we were trying to voice our concerns. There were people visiting from the Assistant Secretary of Defense, of State on international security, when he was also referring, Mr. Countryman, he was also referring the same things, and they were trying to tell the policymakers here and all those civil society members, academics, that you have to accept whatever we do.
Okay,
but Pakistan is not going to accept
it. But
yes.
Let me go to just Bilal here. Bilal, are we really going to accept all these things that is coming? Perhaps that strong word is not used by Athar Saab, that B is coming from the US side, that we have to accept everything. We have our own identity and security credentials, and we have our own important role to play.
Definitely. The pressure is mounting on Pakistan, but we have to also analyze the basic nature of this relationship. Without analyzing the basic nature of the relationship, we won't be able to make a sincere account of what is happening. That is, the major engagement between Pakistan and the United States of America is based upon that strategic objective that was outlined in the President Bush as well as President Obama's national security strategy, that was to dismantle and disrupt Al-Qaeda and its affiliates in Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Okay.
All the other aspects of the relation come amid all the strategic objectives of the United States of America. Okay. So we cannot actually bypass that particular strategic objective that the US has.
So the security concerns are the linchpin between the relationship.
Are the linchpin.
But what are the linchpins with the US-India relationship? It is commercial interest or the strategic nuclear interest in the long term, or countering the Chinese interests?
It is a broad-based relationship. Unlike our understanding with the United States of America, they have the inked agreements. Unlike Pakistan, we have basic agreements. We have basic understandings with the United States of America. What we can forecast between the Americans and the Indian relationship is that the US Asia pivot strategy, India is a basic ingredient of the ingredient of the US Asia pivot strategy. However, it is very important for us to understand that how much India would be able to cater the US wish list in Asia. And the US-India, because we also know that there are growing Indo-Chinese relationships, particularly in the economic context. India, I don't believe, would be accommodating much larger US wish list vis-a-vis China.
Faisal, let's try to learn from the enemy. What different the Indians are doing from Pakistan? I was just going through the statement given by our ex-information minister and ambassador to the US, Ms. Sherry Rahman, when she said that Indians have 4 big lobbyist firms working for them. We have none. They have their own commercial interests. They have a huge diaspora, although we have also a good number of people there, but these Indians are working for the interest. And Pakistani diaspora that is there, they are again fragmented into the political and the sectarian divides that we have, unfortunately, inside Pakistan as well. And also the perception that is being painted outside Pakistan and India about India, that it's so-called shining, as the toilets were mentioning by Rana Saab. That's a good inclusion by that. But on the whole, don't you think that the perception of Pakistan is not that good that we are really yearn for?
It's an interesting question. What's India doing differently than Pakistan? If you look at the turn of Indian-US relationship, it came in 2000 when President Clinton visited India. And thereafter, now Mr. Modi has met 7 times President Obama. So there's a long distance of 16 years.
2004 visit was also very important.
Yeah,
Bush and they have nuclear
deal was signed. So what they're doing differently is that Prime Minister Modi has become the face of foreign policy of India. And starting from Indian Ocean, where his first visit was to Sri Lanka, Seychelles and probably Maldives, from there onwards he has been to all major capitals of the world. He has been to Europe, he has been to Middle East, he has been to United States, he has been meeting all the major leaders of the world. His intimacy with them, his hugging and huddling with them has brought in a chemistry that he has developed with the national leadership, international leadership at the moment. That is the difference, that the India is shining because, and look at
he must be carrying something.
Yeah, let me come there.
Community should buy.
Oh, no,
he's not empty-handed.
Let me come. He's not empty-handed. So it is, and look at the fluency in English that he has gained over the last couple of years. He has invested so much time in building the image of India through the image of Modi itself, that he is reassuring people that as long as I'm there, I will hold the policies of India. Now, what does India have? It is interesting that is not what India offers, but what US sees in India is more important, because that is after namely their importance vis-a-vis China is very important. Now, having learned that they can't handle Afghanistan by themselves, they encourage and endorse Indian involvement in Afghanistan. So they see controlling situation in Afghanistan through India. So India is becoming increasingly a proxy, a partner of United States in this particular region. And that is why
they hate to accept that.
No, they may like to, they may hate to. But look at the another trend in Indian foreign policy. Increasingly in the Indian foreign policy, their domestic policies, their foreign policies being aligned with the domestic policies. Look at the initiatives, flagship initiatives of Make in India, Digital India, Clean India. All these are drawing sources from their diaspora, particularly in USA. Look at there are 7 major companies in Silicon Valley that are headed by Indians. 1% of US population is Indian, and most of them are well educated and most of them are well placed. That is their strength.
Let me just go to Ransab. Ransab, apart from your comment on the toilet facility, that's a big scar on the Indian face. And if you go to New Delhi, the stink that is there, and I was particularly perturbed by that. You just roll down the window of your car and that you can't breathe properly. That is one part. But apart from that, do you really think so that the Indians don't have really something in their coffer to invest in the international community, or you still think that Pakistan has more to offer?
I think, let me first just say, comment what Vice Marshal was referring. It's very interesting what he analyzed. I also like to analyze what exactly India has given to the world. They signed deal, civil nuclear energy deal, and there is no civil nuclear plant yet in India.
And they couldn't go ahead. But the basic hurdle is the NSG.
No, not only NSG will remain as a hurdle. The issue also is that India is not ready to grant United States that right to also, the India must segregate their military and civil installation, and that's a very major obstacle. India time and again dodged and just ducked that thing. The second thing which you were saying, that India actually, this Prime Minister is the face of the foreign policy, for example, very nice comment. But look at what Prime Minister Modi has done to the actual external affairs of India. It has also for example, devalued a quality foreign ministry of India, which is a democratic country. Normally, Secretary of State would go all other places. But here what we have looked at, that is Prime Minister Modi is going. because it was about his image. He was the man who had no visa. He was banned PNG in the United
massacre of
States.
Gujarat.
Yes, exactly. And his case is still in the New York court. This is so we have to look into the.
Yeah, but now he's traveling on the diplomatic immunity. As
It's
you can
fine.
understand, as
It's-
the
they have,
head
of
of the
course,
government. Yeah, they are forced to do that.
That's fine. That's his right. But my concern would be more that India is more trying to take out from the West than he is going to offer.
So what Pakistan is not doing, apart from
Pakistan
lobbying
is
and
not
all
doing.
that?
You mentioned about the 4 firms.
Yeah.
We have an example back from early 2000. There was a firm, lobbying firm at the K Street in Washington.
Mark Siegel?
Yes, and what they did was, they did for Pakistan lobbying, and the next time they were hired by India.
Yeah.
So I think we should not go to the lobbying firm, because that's not only spending a lot of money but also a bad experience.
What should we do then?
What we must do is we must reactivate our cultural section, press sections in different countries, in the major countries, and also our social media must be taken by the information ministry with a really proactive professional sitting there, because
That's where the shoe pinches. That's one of the close things to my heart that I keep on advocating.
no, I think it's correct. If we look in the word that the one tweet from President Obama or the White House transforms the debate. Same goes for Indian Prime Minister. Modi and anyone else in the world leader, they do this tweet or they send an SMS. It transforms everything. The debate changes. So my concern is that Pakistan must go really on offensive diplomacy. They
As far as
must-
the perception management is concerned.
I mean, we have been saying it, but they don't know which kind of tool they need.
Okay, but Bilal, apart from
and that's problematic.
yeah, apart from this media coverage that we should have, what about our economy that is not registering as much growth as you were expected? What about our social capital that is not getting as much importance that should have been after this democratic dispensation started? And what about the role of our diaspora? They have not been contributing to that much.
Actually, I was looking for at this point that when we talk about the Indian diaspora in the United States of America, that is somewhere around 3 million, but Pakistan has 1 million,
1 million
around
or so,
1
yeah.
million or so diaspora in America. There is a need of bridging or making liaison between our policymakers, and we have to listen to our diaspora living in the United States of America, that how can we influence the US Senate, how can we influence the lobbyists in the United States of America, what soft image can we project on our part. Yes, Pakistan is not as much large economy as the Indian has, but Pakistan is 1/4 of the economy that India
it's
is.
one of the biggest
That
economies in
yes,
the world.
Definitely there is a concern.
The 7th largest population
Seventh largest
also.
population, and this is very important for us to understand that yes, our economy presently does not have much to offer, but I won't believe that Pakistan economy is not in a position that in the coming years Pakistan won't be projecting itself. China is investing $46 billion in Pakistan for not for none reason. There is some reason for Chinese to come here and invest in Pakistan. Pakistan can definitely in the coming years use as an economic tool to engage the international actors.
But Faisal, if you look at the Chinese role, and we must be thankful to the Chinese authorities that once again they have come up to our rescue as far as the NSG is concerned. But Turkey has gone soft on this issue. New Zealand has gone soft. Even Mexico, which had been great vociferously talking about that we shouldn't be allowing any non-NPT signatory into the NSG. Ireland, even South Africans have gone softer. It's only China which is standing alone, at least favoring Pakistan. There's another parallel proposal that has been presented by Pakistan, and the case has already been sent to the US authorities, that we also want to be part of the NSG. If this parallel goes on and Pakistan becomes a part of NSG besides India, should we accept it, or should we go for the principled stance, the first sign NPT and then you're allowed to go into NSG?
I think since China has taken a stance that no country which has not signed NPT non-proliferation, nuclear non-proliferation treaty, they should not be allowed. I think both of them, India and Pakistan, will have to sign NPT before they get into NSG. I don't think China, at least in this meeting, will retreat its steps or will take its stance back that if you accept Pakistan and then India is okay to join NSG. I don't see that thing happening.
But what's happening to the other countries? Is it an American pressure? Even the Turkish government is not standing by us, which is very close to our heart, as we say.
Modi flying to Mexico soon after his visit to United States to pacify or to win their support. He has been working with all other countries to win. They have, as I said, they have a definite purpose of getting the de jure acceptance as a nuclear weapon state, and that can only happen. They don't want to sign their NPT because their tests conducted in 1998 were not totally to their own liking. The results were not totally to their own liking. So they're probably keeping that option open. But if it comes to that, probably India might not, as a last resort, probably might accept even signing the NPT before joining NSG, because when it joins the NSG, then it can stop Pakistan from joining NSG, because then it becomes a
people say that if India gets into the room, it will lock the door inside.
then it is the elephant in the room. So I think that is if it as a last resort, it might do that. But even then, China probably would keep its principled stand, would like to see that its major strategic partner Pakistan also gets the same recognition at the same time as the Indian does.
Okay, but Ransab, look at the regional politics here. You might have seen the visit of Prime Minister Modi to Tehran and the help they are giving to the Chabahar port. All said and done, this is the one big thing that they are trying to do, despite the poor state of economy that we have. International comparisons the Indians have. The Afghan president was also there. Look at the treatment that we have in Pakistan as far as the Iranian president were concerned. People were saying that it was not enviable. Look at Pakistan-Russia relationship, they are not developing to the fore. Perhaps we have only one true friend in this whole region, that is China, and we are losing all those friends in the regional politics?
No, I wouldn't go that far actually. Let me just go back to, let's do another analysis that if we really become a member of NSG group, NSG for example, you see the treatment what India has, the country's acceptance, because after all it would be with those individual countries in the end to give you that kind of, whatever your requirement is. Maybe when you become a member, these countries, Australia and all these countries do not treat you really the way they are treating India.
Or they may repent because of their bad record?
No, not because
of security and safety?
No, ours.
No, Indians, I'm talking about Indian record.
Because Indian record is still bad. They have just, 4,000 accidents took place and 5 of them were in India. They're very recently nuclear accidents. And we have, alhamdulillah, none. So I would say that this is also important, that we should not push desire. As you say, you may not desire something, you get it. Because it has another side of it as well. That, as Faisal was saying, that signing NPT means really
cutting off your hands.
Yeah, exactly. Chopping your both the minimum credible deterrence and the full spectrum, the new one. So I think it is better that we keep playing this thing, diplomatic, this approach, trying to prevent India, because by and large we are, maybe people are looking at that there will be acceptance of India, but I don't think so.
Okay, apart from this nuclear, if you see the role of the Americans, particularly when President Obama has given a go-ahead for further escalation of the troops and the powers that are going to be there to fight against the Taliban, and the Pakistani efforts to bring Taliban to the negotiation table, what do you see the Pakistani role is minimizing in this region?
No, we call it backstrapping. This happened 2 times before. When they were talking to Pakistan to facilitate, they were having another office in Qatar. And then they were playing other cards with Iran, with India and other countries. Same they have done in the case of this one, recent one, that they push us very hard to facilitate, when you are very close to create that kind of situation. So,
but the Taliban also backtrapped. Mullah Mansoor openly said that we are not going to participate, particularly after their win in Kunduz.
Oh, I would say that that part is relating to their own gain. They have already 13 provinces in Afghanistan which are being controlled by Taliban. And from there, the US forces, the troops, they also pass and do whatever their business is, and they're not bothered with that. But I'd like to comment what you asked me, the question about the Russia and about, Iran, Iranian president. We also have to understand that what happened to our trip when Pakistan went extra mile to facilitate a relationship between Saudi Arabia and Iran. The treatment Pakistan received in Saudi Arabia was in contrast what they received in Tehran.
Yeah.
But Pakistan, on the other hand, of course hosted President Rouhani very well, but there was an incident which happened, and there was no way that you make such a big catch and do not present it.
There was no way?
Yes, because
There could
it
have
was
been some milder ways to say that.
no, because there was involvement of a third country's place, Chabahar, the port, from where they launched.
There must have been an opportunity cost of that, the scene of displaying Mr. Kulbhushan Yadav on the TV right on the day of President Rouhani's visit.
I think the cost is for us, we should not do cost benefit analysis at the moment, but what we have achieved, if some other country could have done it in this way, from a Pakistani point of view, it would have been all the hue and cry in the world. And that even this positive thing for us, negative for the enemy countries, was not allowed to be projected positively. And Iran, on the other hand, should have come very strong that we will
I take your
investigate
point.
and
Let me
do
go to
all
Bilal.
sort of solutions.
Let me go to Bilal. Bilal, the situation is here that we have to do some kind of firefighting once again, maybe for the umpteenth time, and we take some stance, and Americans, they do not take it as the stance as the Pakistan should have. Then they come flying to us and they start talking about, you could recall John Kerry's visit, you could recall Paneta's visit, you could recall this visit also. What 3-4 things that Pakistan should be presenting before them? Okay, this is our red lines, do not cross them, please.
We have presented our red lines before to the United States of America. Very simply, there is a time frame that is approaching in the coming year, that is the withdrawal of US troops. It is very important for us to assess that how long US can stay in Afghanistan. It also shows US perplexity with its own policy making in Afghanistan.
They are not going away in any future with this recent...
With this recent episode, no, in my opinion, it is a pressure tactics on Pakistan, that if you are not coming on terms as we want to dictate, we won't facilitate you. So it is in this context, it's a tactic. It is a pressure tactics on Pakistan to eliminate the top to eliminate the top Taliban leadership and probably come up with negotiations with the middle level of Taliban leadership. That could be one of the approach that US. But US is always very cautious while engaging with Pakistan in a way that they want to continue with both the aspects of their power, that is hard power and soft power. Whenever there is such an instance where Pakistan has feel annoyed and Pakistan has been
the carrot is offered.
The carrot is always offered. So we have to see in the coming days what carrot would be offered to Pakistan.
What are our red lines here? Is this really the pressure tactics that the Afghan forces are given a new mandate by President Obama?
I think first thing is that we as a country should come to terms with the reality of US and India relationship. We should accept that they have convergence of interest. Their goods and services trade has reached $100 billion and it's still growing. I think second thing is as far as Pakistan's own stance is concerned, we should find convergence of our national interest with the US national interest. And at the moment when we see if we remain mired in Afghanistan for all times to come, there isn't going to be progress on any other subject with the United States. So it is not only that our relationship with China should be at the cost of our relationship with US. We can continue to have our relationship with both the superpowers, both the major powers, I would say.
So Russia is missing from this mix?
No, Russia is missing because Russia does not have the economic strength to support you as the Chinese have the wish and strength to support.
It does have the diplomatic
no, but you do not have, it is since the relationship between two countries is a two-way process,
Yeah.
what do you have to offer to Russia at this moment? I don't see much, except that if you want to buy their military wherewithal, I don't see anything else at the moment, or because you're not a factor in Middle East where Russia is involved at the moment. So I think we should continue to pursue our Iran-Pakistan-India pipeline. We should continue to pursue the Topi pipeline. We should continue to work with US in the Middle East, so that our relationship, which is very important to both the countries, it is not only important to us, it is important to US also.
Okay.
Does not see these
last thought I want to get
nose diving situations.
on Rana Sahab, let's just very last thought. What are the options with us now?
I think we should diplomatically we should remain pragmatic and do not let Americans get away. Engage them, convince them, and making sure that Pakistan gets its national security interest across.
Thank you, Rana Sahab. I have to cut it short. Thank you very much, Faiz Sahab, Bilal Sahab, and Rana Sahab for sharing your very valuable thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. That's all from us. So you make your own decisions out of this discussion that Pakistan should go ahead, what options and what are the problematic areas that we must focus on. Your comments and suggestions are more than welcome at facebook.com/Dr. Zubair Ghori official, and my Twitter handle is Dr. Zubair Ghori. That's all from us tonight. Have a very good night. Allah Hafiz.